Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for your yoga practice today. My name is Karen, and today I will guide you through a gentle yoga practice with a focus on opening up the hips. So let's begin by lying down on the back. You can take your time to get there. You can extend your legs long on the mat. Or maybe you plant your feet into the mat, walk your feet away from each other, let your knees knock together, arms down beside you with the palms faced up. You can close your eyes down here, or you might prefer to soften your gaze. Taking a few moments here to settle into presence. And to arrive onto your mat, unfurrowing your eyebrows, relaxing the muscles of your jaw, scanning your body, just noticing if there's any areas of your body that feel particularly tense. Noticing these areas without judgment. Can you send your breath there? Breathing into these tense areas. Seeing if you can use your breath to bring softness and relaxation into these areas of your body. Here for a few more moments, exploring this, being compassionate and loving towards whatever is showing up for you here. Two more breaths in your own timing. And we'll turn these breaths into cleansing, releasing deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, fill your belly up with air. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Release. Inhale, feel your ribs, your belly rise. Exhale, sighing it out. Once more, inhale deeply. Exhale. Release. Let's bring both knees into the chest nice and slowly. You can give yourself a little hug here. Taking 3 deep breaths in reclined child's pose. You can choose stillness or maybe just gently swaying side to side, massaging out your lower back. Bring your hands to your knees. We'll make some circles here with the hips and the knees. So straighten the arms, guide your knees away from you, then guide your knees over to one side. Guide your knees towards your chest as you bend your elbows over to the other side. Straighten the arms again. So you can keep going with that, moving nice and mindfully, slowly, gently waking up the hips. Let's change direction of those circles. So taking it the opposite way. Keep the breath mindful, the movement slow. Dropping your left foot to the mat, extending your right leg up towards the ceiling. You can interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Pausing here for 4 deep breaths, breathing into the back of your right leg. Noticing how if you flex your right toes down towards your face, the stretch journeys into your right calf. Last breath here. Then we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee. Reclined pigeon or figure 4. You can stay here, or maybe you pick your left foot up off the mat and interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Flex your right toes back towards your right knee. 4 breaths here, breathing into your right hip. Breathing all the way to the base of your spine. If it's not there already, plant your left foot back onto the mat and then just crossing the right knee over your left knee. So it's kind of like you're lying on your back cross-legged like you would in a chair. So this is reclined cow face pose. Now you can stay here. You might be feeling a lot already, or maybe you pick your left foot up and guide the knees closer towards your chest. You can have your hands resting onto your shins. Feeling the stretch into the outer hips here. 2 more breaths. Being gentle, no need to pull or push too hard. Nice and gently dropping your left foot back to the mat. You can uncross the knees. Then we'll extend the left leg up to the sky. Let's do that other side. So interlacing your hands behind your left thigh. Flexing your left toes down towards your face. 4 breaths here, breathing into the back of the left leg. Waking up the hamstrings, the calf muscle. Plant your right foot into the mat. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Reclined pigeon. You can stick with this. Or maybe you pick your right foot up and interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Flex your left toes back towards your left knee. If you have the right foot up off the mat, you could even gently push the left elbow into your left thigh. Notice how maybe that intensifies sensation in the left glute. 2 more breaths here. Planting right foot back to your mat if it's not there already, then crossing your left knee rather over your right knee. So it's like a cross-legged position, but lying down on your back. Now you can stick with this, or maybe you pick the right foot up off the mat, and then maybe you hold onto the shins. Two more breaths here. Lowering the right foot back to the mat, uncrossing your knees. Soles of your feet together as your knees go wide, reclined butterfly. Your hands can rest on your belly or maybe out to your side. You could always bring blocks if you have them, or cushions or pillows underneath your thighs to decrease the intensity. 4 more breaths. Breathing into your inner thighs, hips, low back. Relaxing the face, softening your jaw. You can use your hands to just gently guide your knees back towards each other. Bring your knees into your chest and either roll off to one side and push yourself up, or maybe rock up to seated so we can come to a tabletop position, all fours. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Cat-cow. Inhale, your belly drops towards your mat, gaze forward, gently guide your chest through your arms. Exhale, tucking your tailbone, doming at the upper back, chin to chest. 2 more. Inhale, your belly drops. Exhale, reverse that. Belly pulls up and in, chin to chest, push into hands and knees. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Sinking your hips towards your heels, wide like a child's pose. Big toes come to touch, knees go wide. Reaching your arms ahead of you, resting your forehead towards the mat. 4 deep breaths here. Back to tabletop. Bring your knees back to hips width distance apart. Walk the hands a little bit further forward. Tuck your toes under. Push into the hands as you pick your knees up. Send your hips up and back to the sky. Down dog. Your head is in between your arms. Your gaze can be back at your feet. You can choose stillness here, or maybe you pedal out the legs, walking out your dog, bending into one knee, straightening through the other. Keep pushing into the hands. 1 more breath here. And then tippy-toeing to the front of the mat for ragdoll forward fold. Feet can be hips width distance apart. You can have a deep bend in your knees for this fold. You can hold onto opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy. You can dangle the arms if that feels nice. 5 more breaths here. The more you bend your knees, the more you target the release of your spine. One more breath. Rising to halfway lift on the fingertips for a moment so we can set up for yogi squat. So your big toes go nice and wide. Or not your big toes, sorry. Your feet go nice and wide with your toes pointing off to the sides, sinking into your hips. You could simply rest your hands onto your thighs here, elevated like so. Maybe you sink the hips down low. And don't worry if your heels are up off the mat. That's perfectly normal. You can always have your fingertips down on the mat to support you. Or maybe your heels reach the mat. You could have your fingers on the mat. Or you could bring your hands into prayer, gently pushing knees into elbows. Elbows into knees. Remember, you could always stay elevated like so if that feels better in your body. We'll be here for 4 more breaths. Whatever way works for you. Make your way down to seated. Extending your legs out in front of you for forward fold. You could always sit up on a cushion or blocks, and you can always have a bend in your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Let your hands rest wherever feels good. Tucking chin to chest. We'll be here for 5 more breaths. Rising out of this half butterfly, bending into the left knee. Left sole of the foot is in line with your right thigh. Both hips square forward. You could always bring some support underneath your left knee, whether that's cushion or block. You can always have a bend in your right knee here as well. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Let the hands rest wherever works for you. 5 breaths here in half butterfly. Targeting the right hamstring, left hip, lower back, all up along the spine. Rising out of that, planting your left foot into the mat now, about a hand's width distance away from your right thigh. Your left knee points to the ceiling. Inhale, reach the left arm up to the sky. And then bringing the left hand behind you on the exhale. Your right hand can wrap around your left knee, for a twist, or maybe you hook the right elbow into the left knee. Reach tall to the crown of the head. You can gaze off to the side or maybe over your left shoulder. Your right toes flex back towards you. 4 more breaths here in this seated twist. Coming back to center, we'll do that on the other side. Bending into the right knee now. Right sole of the foot next to your left thigh. You can always bring something underneath your right knee for some support. Left knee could always be bent. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, hinge from your hips as you fold forward. Let your arms rest anywhere along the leg. 5 deep breaths. Rising out of that, plant the right foot into the mat, about a hand's width distance away from your left foot, setting up for the twist. Inhale, reach right arm up to the sky. Exhale, bring your right hand behind you to act as a kickstand. Your left hand can be resting on the right knee, or maybe you hook your left elbow into the right knee. Inhale, grow tall through the spine. Exhale, twist from your belly. Maybe you look over your right shoulder. 4 breaths here. Deep belly breaths. Slowly turning back to center, and we'll descend onto the back. In whatever way works for you, you can take your time to get there. Plant your feet into the mat, bend your knees, setting up for bridge. Arms down beside you with the palms planted into the mat. Feet hips width distance apart. Push into the heels, squeeze your glutes as you send your hips towards the sky. While your hips reach to the sky, think of elongating your spine. Knees reach to the top of the mat, chest rather reaches towards your chin. Notice if your knees start to splay out wide, can you keep your knees at hips width distance apart, like you're squeezing a block in between your thighs. You can also push into your hands and your shoulders for some support. Two more breaths here, opening into the belly, heart space, fronts of the legs, strengthening the back body. And then slowly lowering down. Gently bring both knees into the chest. Bring your hands onto your knees. Guide your knees and your feet away from each other for reclined yogi squat. Feel as though you're wrapping your thighs around the outsides of your torso and reaching your knees towards your armpits. You can stick with this, or maybe soles of the feet come to face the ceiling for happy baby. Your hands can be behind your thighs, onto the ankles, or maybe the feet. Keep reaching your low back towards the mat. Five more breaths in happy baby. reaching your knees towards your armpits, breathing into your hamstrings, your hips, low back. Last 2 breaths here. Bend into your knees. Guide your knees back towards each other. Plant your feet onto the mat. Savasana, relaxation. So for this, you could extend your legs long. You could plant your feet into the mat, let your knees knock together. You could roll onto your side or even onto your belly. So Shavasana is a posture of deep rest where we integrate and absorb the work that we did in the practice. So find a restful position that feels good to you. Once you've found it, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And begin to invite surrender into your being. Relax the eyebrows. Soften your jaw muscles. Give your whole body permission to let go here. We'll spend a few minutes in silence. Your only task is to simply rest. I'll call you back with the sound of my voice. When you're ready, take a deep breath to wake your body back up. Gentle movement, maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Roll out your ankles, your wrists, even rock the head side to side. Massaging the back of your head into your mat. You might like to take a big stretch, reaching the arms away from the feet. And then when you're ready, Bringing both knees into your chest for reclined child's pose. We'll take one breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Taking your time. There is no rush. Making your way up to seated. Maybe you roll off to the side, push yourself up. Or maybe you gently rock up. Coming into cross-legged. We'll close the practice here together. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands down to prayer at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Closing by chanting the sacred sound of Om, followed by Shanti, which means peace, 3 times. Inhale to begin. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bowing your head to your heart. Bringing your hands over your eyes. You can rest the weight of your head in your hands. Take your time to arrive back to your space. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below. Let me know how you found it. Even like typing some emojis down below really help as well. Lets the algorithm know that I'm here. But yeah, I appreciate all of the interaction you can give with this video, and I wish you a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much.